Still thinking about it?
No. Okay. It's going?
It's
going. You know it's in the lower right? Just so you know.
Lower right, okay.
Yeah, so don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Teach Me Grappling, what's up guys? Brian Peterson here. And I thought I was training alone on a Friday night, and then my boy Carlos came in. I was trying to set up the camera and set it up on a tripod and just show you guys some solo drills. Carlos came in, so he's able to hold it for me. Thank you so much, Carlos. Guys, solo drills. Somebody said they wanted solo drills last night. I've already done one video on it. I'm not really excited too much. I'm trying my best to give you guys something. Maybe I'll show you something that you haven't seen before, but more than likely, all this stuff is probably out there on the internet in some way, shape, or form. And I'm just gonna freelance. I just did my own little workout, punching and drilling and shadowing. So I'm just gonna kind of freelance. So none of this is planned. It's not organized. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll do my best. I'm already loose. So what I would recommend, guys, is get warmed up really good. You want to make sure that you guys do some jumping jacks, some shadow boxing. You know, make sure that you guys are used to like punching and kicking. Come on over here. All right. As far as stretching goes, like once I get to a point where I'm warm and I've broken a sweat, little warm things you can do solo, guys. I'm not the most flexible at all. But one of the things that I can do fairly well or decent that I think you need, we're obviously on a mat. I'm just gonna lay on my insteps. Real simple. Just lay on your insteps. Make sure you guys stretch this really good. Just like this. And you can kind of sit to one side. It's really good for your ankles. So you really like loosen up your ankles. You can kind of like work your feet around and really loosen up your ankles like this. So something I like to do a lot, you know, is sitting like that. I also have the flexibility to sit on the mat with my heels on the outside. So this is definitely, yeah, and you can move around, Carlos. This is something that most people cannot do. I'm 42 years old, but I still have that flexibility because I kept it, and I have had an ACL reconstruction, and I had a good doc, but I also rehabbed, and I got all my flexibility back. Most people that have ACL reconstructions can't do this anymore. They usually, their knee tightens up when they get to about here. So, you know, you wanna like kind of stretch and get your toes dug into the mat. You wanna practice digging the toes in the mat, stretching out your big toe. A lot of people get toe injuries just from like turf toe, kind of like jamming their toe. I like to stretch this a lot. I've had broken toes, and again, stretching. You want to stretch this stuff a lot. So if you can just kind of get on a mat at home and kind of loosen this stuff up. You see how I'm moving my butt side to side. I just want to get real loose. Get real loose. Kind of sit my butt back as much as I can with toes dug in. This is putting a lot of pressure on my toes, and I'm stretching it really good. So these are some of the stretches I like to do. Again, I'm not real flexible with rubber guard, but I like to put my heel, this little bone on the outside of your ankle. I like to put it right inside here. So I'm not doing like a full lotus, but I put it right in here. It kind of fits across. You can be in different places. You can be like this. I like to put it about right here, and then I just rest my elbows on my knees like this. So I just kind of, and then I just work on pushing this down, getting this nice and loose. This is a really good stretch, and I'll sit at times and read, or that's a lie, I don't read. Just kidding. But like maybe look at my phone and read, right? Read some articles or something like that. That's what I meant. So if you want to like look at something, I like to look at something like this. Really works on stretching everything out. You're gonna feel some tension in your knees, usually the one that's on top right here, and then I'll open it up and kind of loosen up my leg, and then, you know, kind of shake it out, and then I'll switch and pull the other one on top. And again, now I'm working on this one a little bit, kind of working that, leaning in, getting nice and loose, okay? These are things you can do on your own. Again, I got inspired years and years and years ago just by kind of watching some of the best guys. One in particular, Javier Vasquez. I just watched Javier one time, I think at a tournament. He was just sitting there and watching the matches like this. And I just got inspired, and I started doing it myself. And I noticed a huge improvement in my flexibility just from kind of doing this back and forth, you know. I'm not real flexible in the hamstrings and the low back, especially as I've gotten older. I have not kept up very good, so I can touch my toes. I'm loose right now, guys, so this would not be cold. I cannot do what I'm doing right now cold. Pulling one leg in, going 2 against 1 right here. I think a lot of people get lazy when they stretch and they do this kind of number or this. You know, I like to put 2 hands on it and turn my shoulders and face my foot. So you wanna stretch that. You know, you wanna work on that. Again, where I struggle is this kind of stuff, pulling my foot to my face. My knees don't like any of that. So again, I can do this, but you know, which is great for like being able to get up, you know, to see how I just got up to my knees from the seated, maybe like, what do we say? Used to call it like sitting Indian style, crisscross applesauce. You know, you guys are sitting right here. You want to be able to lean forward and just shift your weight to your knees and then bring your feet out. See that? So from the back, I'm just sitting right here on my butt. Maybe I have the guard like this. I should be able to just lean and then boom, bring my feet out. Those are some movement drills you can practice on your own. Just kind of getting used to these legs. I can make leg circles like this, back up to my knees, going back the other way. These are great. Just getting you used to mobility. If you want, you can touch your hand or not touch your hand. You know, as you do it, you can keep your elbows in. Or I like to actually touch my hand because I'm practicing like just motion. You know, swinging and getting up, changing angles. You know, no matter where my opponent is, you can kind of practice moving, sitting. This is stuff you do while you're grappling. You're here on your knees, you go to a turtle, you sit, and you go right back to your guard, you know. So that's good stuff to try. Getting into my upper body, placing my hands on the mat. The simple hip heist drill is a great drill. This is one version of the hip heist. Some people practice going around the circles. That's obviously great. Good old school basic stuff. The other hip heist that you'll see in wrestling is an explosive hip heist in order to flip. So what I'll do is I'll get to a crab walk position, and then a lot of times in wrestling we'll crab walk forward a few times, and then out of this position we'll flip our hips and we'll get back to our base. Again, I'll do another one quick. Set, and I'll flip and get to here. One more. When you guys drop, you want to drop your hip. I'm going to my knees, but I'm trying to get my quads down. Heavy right here. My flexibility isn't as good as it used to be, but you know, you want to get your back stretched. Good stretch right here. If you're an older gentleman, maybe you want to start down here on your elbows before you get too crazy. But again, guys, remember, I'm already warmed up. I've done a few of these movements already, so I feel relatively comfortable. Really stretching your low back, you know. This is a great stretch. Again, used a lot in yoga. And then coming forward there. Going back to the hip heist that I just showed you, when you do the hip heist, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have one hand on the mat. When you have one hand on the mat, the hand that's on the mat is the one that you're gonna turn to. So since my left hand's on the mat, my right hand's up, I'm gonna rotate towards my left. So my left foot goes out. So you notice I'm diagonal on the mat. Left hand, right foot, and then I'm gonna flip and rotate my hip. So I'm gonna try to do it as slow as I can. As we rotate, you notice my hips went down, my hands push the mat and I bring myself back to my knees, my base here. So post, you can either bring a leg up or just lift the knee. Boom. As I go, my right hand's on the mat. My right hand's on the mat. I'm lifting and then hip heisting, getting hips down and then going to there. A great exercise used to escape from your opponent. These are a lot of wrestling drills, practicing standing up. So used in MMA a lot more, but not so much in Jiu-jitsu. When you guys want to hit a stand-up, I'm keeping my elbows in. I push back and for very basic stuff, I'll step up with one of my legs and I'll seal off. So I'm practicing keeping my elbows in so there's no space for my opponent to grip me. If I get into these positions, I'm grabbing hands, I'm pushing back, and I'm doubling up on a hand, practicing doing what's called putting it in my back pocket. I take my opponent's hand, it would be his left hand, put it in my back pocket. My hips start to get some distance from my opponent as I cut, and I bring my right leg back. This is just basically stepping back. Stepping back. But as you do it, it's more of a hips out. As you turn, you step back, and now my hips get more space between me and my opponent in a grappling sense. That's how it'll look. So the wrestling lines that you see here for a wrestling match, I'll have my hands on the mat, my knees on one side, hands on the other. Again, this is a sportive wrestling thing, but you'll hit your stand up, and you'll come up and then cut. And sometimes you'll notice I'll post my hands on the mat because what I'm doing is I'm expecting my opponent to come at me with possibly a shot right as I'm getting away, so I'm down blocking. That brings us to down blocking. If I'm in my stance, you guys can practice motion drills. You know, you want to get in a good stance and practice movement, shuffling your feet, down block, down block. When I lower my hand, the hand that lowers, I bring that leg back. So maybe that's my opponent's attacking this leg, so I drop that leg back, okay? He attacks this one. I can also double down block. So I can double, both hands. Practice cutting angles, okay? Okay, brings us into our knee over toe drill. Notice I crouched and I got low. I'm kind of letting the position marinate for a little bit. Drop the knee, okay? Trail leg comes up, drive over, knee over toe. My knee goes over my toe, drops, back leg comes up. Usually we'll see this in a straight line. I'm just gonna go around in a circle because assuming you don't have a huge mat like I do, you can just go around in a circle. Great for building up your legs. If you have to warm up, if you're a little older, you can soften the landing. Right knee, right hand. We tell kids don't touch the mat because we want them used to keeping their elbows in and wrestling, going for takedowns. But when you're just warming up, or if you're older, you need some training wheels. I call these training wheels. Training wheels help you kind of get used to it until you're ready to go with no hands. Okay? Those are a lot of wrestling drills. There's a breakfall, huh? Breakfall drill coming up into this kind of stance here. So I breakfall, chin tucked. I come up, one leg folded, one leg here. Basic jiu-jitsu get up, pulse the hand behind, other hand is up for defense, making sure whatever strikes may come, or to keep your opponent away from you. You're gonna push off your foot here, and I'm gonna push off my right hand, and I'm gonna elevate my butt. So there's a space under my butt of air. I'm gonna now, as I'm hovering, I'm gonna rotate my hips and bring my leg behind my hand. And then I like to add a shuffle. So let me hit a breakfall. Okay, so as I rock on up, eyes are forward, I'm looking, I lift, and now watch what I do. I'm gonna slow it down and stop for a second. I rotate my leg and look where my foot went. My foot wants to be close to this hand. If your foot is in a different location, let's say, for example, I put my foot over here. I've made a triangle now where I have my foot, and my hand. This makes a triangle. Sounds like a good tripod base, but this is now harder to lift my upper body up, and I'm very, very wide right now. So what I wanted you to think about instead is more like a bicycle with a kickstand. So I lift my body, I bring my leg, and you notice these two are relatively close. That way I can lift my hand and have some weight on me because my foot takes that weight. If my foot's over here, I'm falling. You hear that sound? But if I can lightly, because my foot's taking the weight. And then here's what I meant by that little shuffle. I bring my lead leg towards, I shuffle it or skip towards my back leg, and I get out of there. Because in the real situation, when you come up, you're going to actually have to retreat many, many times. So if we get in this situation, we fall down against our opponent and we have to spring up. Unless we're moving into our opponent, we need to mostly retreat. So we're getting up, and there's a skip to get out of whatever is coming at you to give you something. And then obviously you can then practice, bring in some boxing, and you can bring in cutting and stuff. So you can break, fall, sit up, come here, skip, pivot. You know, that's a good one. If I want to practice the other side, I will do the same thing this way. Notice my foot, skip, and pivot out of the way. So I'll do that a couple times just so you can see that. Break, fall, up, skip, pivot. Break, fall on the other side. Hand is up, skip, pivot. Okay, and then if you wanted to add boxing, you could add kickboxing or whatever you want to. Other good jiu-jitsu movements that you can practice is, I like to do the basic hip escape. So we have hip escaping. I put toes in the mat, close to my butt. I bring my leg a little bit to the side. I don't bring it straight towards my butt like this. This is not gonna give me what I want when I move my butt backward. I wanna move it out here. So you see the way that my leg looks, it's out here. That way, when I thrust my hip, I can move out this way, create some space, and then now if I want to bring this knee through, I can bring it through. Maybe I now have a butterfly hook, or maybe I'm gonna go back to the guard, half guard, whatever you're doing. Foot on the mat, hip escape, and then back in. If you wanna practice forward hip escaping instead of here, or what I call the reverse hip escape, you can move out, but you can also move in. You see that? I can be on my side and I can practice moving in. This is a drill. You can practice as well and practice kind of moving in. This is great because you move away from your opponent with a shrimp or a hip escape, but then sometimes you need to get underneath your opponent and you use the side of your foot. You pull the mat and you're on your shoulder and you do the opposite of what a hip escape does. A hip escape normally pushes your butt out. A reverse hip escape is more of pulling your butt towards your foot. So my butt is gonna go here. My heel's gonna be close to my butt, and I can use that for different purposes. So cover hip escaping. You know, doing other good stretches is like on your neck. There's a lot of people who don't like neck bridging. They claim it's bad for you. I'm 42. I'll be honest, my neck is kind of trashed, but my neck is also trashed because of 26, 27 years of trauma, of training, and a lot of years of competing. So keep that in mind. My neck is trashed, but there's other reasons. I don't think it was the neck bridging that caused me the issues. I think it had to do a lot more with getting slammed on my head, or posting on your neck and getting, you know, somebody does a move and you jam your neck. People snapping your head real hard. Either way, guys, I would much rather you have a strong neck and learn how to neck bridge. Post your hands, post your head, forward, back. Very simple. You can go off your knees, on your toes. Okay? If you want to go a little side to side, again, I don't have the flexibility that I used to, so I'll just do real basic stuff. If you want to go over to your back, you can go here. Again, I don't have the same flexibility as I used to. I have a video on this already, but on just neck bridging. You want to try to touch your forehead. I can't quite get there anymore, but still, this feels great. Warm that up. If you want to go down to your shoulder, you can practice a more self-defense style bridge where you bridge on your shoulders. Look where you're going. Your head goes away. Head goes away. Look where you're going. Head goes away. Look where you're going. And reach across. Okay. And turn like that. Again, I don't turn very good anymore, but hopefully you get the point. If you've got more flexibility, you can turn a lot more than I do, okay? Hitting that back bridge and the front bridge, you've got your drills of going over to the bridge and then back to the front bridge, over to the bridge and back to the front bridge. You've got flipping to a back bridge, which is a drill, flipping to the back bridge, twisting back over, flipping to a back bridge, twisting back over. Great drill. Builds a lot of good muscles. Practicing headstands is outstanding. Make a triangle. So I've got my hands here in the box. My head won't go in this box because I would lose balance. I would have 3 in a row. I want to have a triangle for balance. I put my head out in front. I come up on my toes. You need to start out. You can place your knee on your elbow, your other knee on the elbow, and just hold this right here. As you get better and you feel more comfortable, you can take your legs up and stretch and kind of keep it here and stabilize. Work on your balance. So this is all great. Working the upper body a little bit, working all your core and your balance. So, outstanding. Really good stuff. Cartwheels. Cartwheels are really important. If I'm shadowing and I'm practicing motion and I'm thinking about, I want to pass my opponent's guard. I'm not saying that the cartwheel pass is something you're going to use all the time, but the cartwheel gets you when you're flipping through the air, it gets you out of danger. It helps you keep your base and your balance. So if I'm here, I'll practice. I won't do a full cartwheel like this. Okay, that's not the kind of cartwheel I'm talking about. This is more of a grappling cartwheel, where what I'm gonna do is, if you notice the circle, I'm gonna use the circle. I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna practice a cartwheel here. As I go, I'm still in the circle right here. I'm focusing, I'm thinking about my opponents here. And then when I land, I wanna land on top of them. I wanna jump in and land on top of them. I can even practice going down to a knee like that. I wanna practice going the other way. Okay, you can go to your knees. Practice cartwheels. Because what cartwheels do, you can do them on your knees just the same. You know, if I'm grappling and I'm on top and I'm kind of getting swept, you know, you can keep your balance and do that little head cartwheel. See that? I put my hand down. I put my head on the mat. I raise up and then I jump off of my right foot onto my left. And then it's real simple right there. So hand down, head down, jump, little head cartwheel. And again, keeping your balance. That way, if you're ever trying to pass someone's guard, you're coming up on top of them, maybe you're doing a takedown, double leg or something, and you need to cartwheel to get to the other side to jump over his legs. You can hop over the legs like that. So all these solo drills are good. I talked about the hip heist drill this way. Now we can do it with a more of a peek out, sit out drill. So if I'm here, I can raise off knees and then I practice sitting to one butt cheek. My knee, everything I do this compact. I taught this on my peek out video. My other leg is tight. I don't extend my legs. I rotate and I'm right back here. I'm gonna do it again on this side. When you do this, my leg comes up like a dog peeing, and then what you're gonna do, or you're up on both. Either both knees up or just one is fine. I raise my elbow to the sky to create a space, assuming my opponent's sprawling on top of me. I slide and I sit through a little bit to my cheek. Never on both butt cheeks, just on one side for a quick moment, and then immediately we're gonna springboard around and rotate in a tight circle. Boom, spin. Boom, spin. Here, peek, out. Don't do your peek outs, I recommend, not like this, where you baseball slide like this. This is not good. You're gonna be very slow. It's gonna be really hard to recover the position. There's a lot of pressure on my left arm right now, so I can't even rotate to get on top because all the weight is on my left hand, and you're gonna end up falling to your elbows, and then when you fall to your elbows, you're not gonna be able to capture what you want. If you keep yourself up tall like this, you can support the weight a lot better, and then my hand's light. So once I hit a peak, I can just get up. I can explode, I can move from there. So shots, practicing, shadowing, pushing. My hands push. I push my opponent, and then I pull. I push, I pull, pull. It doesn't matter which direction. You could grab, imagine a right collar tie and a left hand inside. I can pull my opponent to my right. I can do that same tie up and pull my opponent to my left. They're both correct. What you'll notice is my feet move. So I'm pushing, I pull, I pull. I'm always pulling and moving my feet. I circle. By moving my feet, I move my opponent's feet. Okay, practicing changing stance. If I want to switch stance, I can do so. And then when I pull them down, I'm ready to enter on a shot. Okay, pushing, pulling, stepping, down to the knee, chest up, head up, powerful hips, grip, explode. Pushing, pulling, level change, explode, finish. So those are some little shot drills. If you want to do sweep singles, single legs, you can step to the outside and go there with a little curve. I kind of turn. That's that sweep. See that? Those are good to practice. There's many. I mean, you can shadow just about anything. If you guys wanted to, fireman's carry, I could slide in fireman's carry the person, roll up on top, and get up on top and visualize my positioning. I get on top, I can go to the mount, establish my base, slide my knee up, get up into a technical mount, pulse my hand, control the arm, shift weight towards my right and forward, swing the leg around for the arm bar. Different ways you can practice going into arm bar position. Grip, post, swing it around. These get-ups, man, even this right here is a great drill. Practicing going over to your knees. Bridge, go over to the knees. You're practicing your hip escapes. You want to practice your leg circles. Both directions. Both directions. Switch at any time. So if you're going one direction for a while, see if you can rotate and switch on a dime and change it and work it both ways. Try not to do this. They are both, one is always going clockwise, the other one is going counterclockwise. In the same way when you reverse, one going clockwise, the other one counterclockwise. When one is at 12, the other one is at 6. When one is at, you have like 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, the other one will be there. Boom, they hit like this, boom, that's when they're the same, and then they rotate. So that's kind of the timing of the movement. Your legs will do this. You got your triangles. Boom, practicing triangles. Okay, you can do it with your hip up. Here, Here, if you want to go real high, you can go real high. So those are some good movements. I'm drawing a blank. I know this video is going long. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the suplex speed dummy, but we're going to do that on another video. So this is kind of good for mobility, get your body warmed up, get you ready to go, whether you're going to train or if you just want to keep up your body movements. I didn't do Granby rolls. Okay, Granby roll right there. Here. If you want to go in a circle, go in a circle and go the other way. I'm only rolling on my shoulders. Okay, I'm not rolling on my back. Obviously, forward rolls, backward roll. And what I'd like to say is when you guys do your backward rolls and your forward rolls, practice no head touching, like you would do out on concrete. But when outside, I don't want to roll and go boom, or roll backward and go here. You see that head make contact? You don't want to do that. So you want to practice your rolls where no head touches. Watch how I don't know if you can see that, I'll switch sides. Just do it there. See that? Watch how I go right here. My head never touches. I roll across my shoulder. That's how you're going to do it out on the street. If you have to, you don't want to, but if you have to. The Jiu-jitsu Granby is more, you can practice seated guard inverting, going here, and then back to your guard. Again, probably my weakest point is that style of roll, but it's a really good stretch for me. Again, the older I get, the more this stretch is not so good for me. My hamstrings are very tight. My low back is tight. So that's a difficult one. Still great to warm up with and stretch. There's some drills, guys, to get you going. I'll bring in more next time. I'm gonna do some, show you guys how the suplex speed dummy works. If you guys wanna get one of those, you can get one of those. They don't pay me anything, but I try to support them because they gave me a little discount when I bought so many of them. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time with more great stuff.